Hit some buttons. Make it happen.
Moot point, an issue which no satisfactory answer is found.
This is all a moot point.
The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf! Ma, the meatloaf!
Like a cow's opinion.
I've had it with this dump! Got no food, got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
This is all a moot point. Doesn't matter.
Yo, everybody, welcome to the... Oh, my God, I came in so hot.
No, you didn't come in as hot as you think you did.
Okay.
It sounds like you came in hot because, well, one, we have a headphone splitter that's trash. It sounds like somebody soldered it in a middle school shop class.
You know what? It's funny, though. I was worried about coming in too soft, so I came in.
Listen.
Yeah, I've got that note before. It's like you come in, and I come in, and I'm just like, hey, everybody, welcome to the Moot Points Podcast.
The Moot Points Podcast, it's thundering back in with a vengeance.
It's thundering back. The Moot Reboot 2.0 reloaded.
I mean, this is like, we've rebooted this biatch so many times.
A billion times.
I think the funny part is, though, but this is your creation.
This is
your
me
baby.
now. This is me doing it. We are doing it live from the Shady Center Studios in Los Angeles, California. Wait, scratch that. Hollywood, California.
Yeah,
the center of glitz and glamour.
Underneath the shadow of the Hollywood sign.
Yeah. Underneath the shadow of all the famous people in their rich houses and their nice stuff.
I feel like we've talked about this before, I'm sure, but if you haven't, it's always fun to talk about. When we moved here, we lived in bunk beds in a studio on Gower.
Not too far from here.
Not too
Just
far
a
from here.
stone's throw if you got a great arm.
We upgraded to the Shady Center Studios. It would have been the Gower Shack Studios, the bunker, Fort Hollywood.
Ghetto Shack Studios.
So, but the funny part was we lived where the Walk of Stars started, and literally you walk out the front door, turn to your left, there's a Hollywood sign, just staring you down, daring you to make something of yourself.
Except for that one day you walked outside and there was a guy who died in front of our apartment punching our front window out because he thought he saw a demon in
that's
it.
bad. That was a bad thing.
That was a bad day.
One time I went outside and there was a guy who was masturbating in our friend's Jeep that had no roof on it.
I can't even tell you how many masturbators I've had. And I've had more masturbators here than I ever had there.
I've seen more
at Shady Center Studios. We've had some serious masturbator problems.
Have you really here?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. There was the dude on the street who used to walk around. He'd masturbate looking into car windows. So he'd be staring at his own reflection and masturbating. And it really, he wasn't working. Like, he wasn't... You know, he wasn't like the hottest guy in the world, so it seemed like a lot.
One time, I was driving down La Brea Boulevard, La Brea Avenue. I think it's La Brea Avenue, but it's one of the bigger streets in Los Angeles. It's where I live off of now.
It is La Brea
Avenue. I was driving down it, and I was stuck in traffic, and there's a yoga studio, and I was like, "Oh, yoga!" Because it's just right when I moved back here. And I thought to myself, oh, you know what? I might, you know what? This is close to the radio station. Maybe I'll come over here and do some yoga. And I looked at the yoga studio, and there was a class going on. And then I noticed that there was a dude, and I'm assuming he's homeless. Now, I don't know for a fact where his residence is.
If you're taking the over on homelessness, you're probably making the right bet.
Well, okay, yeah. So he had hand in his sweatpants, just feverishly going at it.
Yeah.
Just going at it. And I was like, what the? Oh my. And then I saw in my rearview mirror that a motorcycle cop was driving down the shoulder next, 8 feet from where this guy was just feverishly going. He was going at it like, he was trying to start a fire in his pants like a Cub Scout.
Maybe he was cold. That's how you know he was homeless. He was trying to warm himself up.
Maybe.
I mean, that's nothing.
I don't think that's the case.
So this is how we like to start on the Moot Points Podcast Reloaded.
Little masturbation
talk. We had a masturbator so bad down the side of our house, right outside the window that we're sitting in front of
right there?
now. Right there in the alley.
I kind of wish it was happening now. I'd open the window
you
and
don't
ask him a
wish
question.
it was happening now.
We'd hand a mic out to him and
honestly,
ask him
it was
questions
like
with the
funny.
masturbator.
It was like funny for a minute where we're like, man, this guy on drugs is like masturbating on the side of our house, and it's a tiny little alley, like just big enough for your body to fit. And he went crazy to the point where we had to call the police, and the police called the paramedics, and the paramedics called the firemen, and all of them were trying to decide who had to get the weird, creepy, naked masturbator out from the side of our house.
They're all trying to find out whose jurisdiction this is.
Yeah.
That is amazing. You know what, though? It's exactly what I'd do. If I was a police officer, I'd come in and be like, yo, this seems like a health problem. This guy seems like he Listen, we're gonna let him keep doing that.
They were all putting on like gloves and like hazmat.
Yeah, of course you got to
suits
put on
and-
gloves and have hazmat suits. Like, no offense to homeless people out there. If you're streaming this podcast, we very much appreciate it. But also, you know just as well as we do that some of you aren't the healthiest bunch, and no one needs to be taking bodily fluids, to the skin on that.
No, they don't. And cash rules everything around me.
Is this
So,
is this a
not-
subtle way of
that-
moving us to another topic?
That is. So, this is the Moot Points podcast rebooted. We didn't even introduce ourselves yet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Patrick Moot.
Well, if you're listening, you know I'm Brian Moot.
Yeah. If you're listening, you know I'm Brian Moot. I have to introduce
don't
my
know,
guests, Brian.
now you know.
I've gotten in trouble for this before. When we did a stand-up show once, I went out on stage and I did not introduce myself. I just went right in.
Oh, I had to introduce you. I was like, "Who the hell are you?" He's like, "Oh, was that in
All right.
Nashville or was that in Atlanta?"
That was in Nashville.
Nashville. That's right, Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville. He goes on stage.
Was that? No, it was in Atlanta.
Here's the
but
thing.
it was at City Winery, so it was the same deal.
I mean, here's the thing about Pat and stand.
In my professionalism.
Patrick and stand. No. You're very professional. You just don't. You
do what I
are.
want.
Well, one, I've thrown you into some pretty big environments and just told you to swim, right? And you've hosted shows. You've made mistakes. They've always been funny. That's the thing about your mistakes. Your mistakes are funny.
Yeah, they're fun loving.
Minus the time you forgot Joel Byers' name, right? Did you forget his name? Joel Byers. And I was like, man.
Oh, me and Joel got beef, baby.
You got beef with Joel Byers?
Yeah, I don't like the guy.
Moot Points podcast.
He didn't take it very well. I forgot his name, and
Okay.
he didn't take it very well. That said, he like rolled into the green room, got thrown on the show last minute. Yeah, that's why people
you're
forget
right.
your name, because you weren't on the bill, man.
Well,
you
also-
got like thrown in at the last minute. So walk out
Okay.
like a gentleman.
Hold on, let me,
and introduce yourself.
Okay, so you're talking about introducing. So Joel Byers is a comedian in Atlanta, and he stopped by the show, City Winery, and
Dank face comedian.
you know what he has? A punchable face. I think that we need to be comfortable in 2019.
He has a punchable face.
Just being able to say you got a punchable face.
You know
and
what?
it's not. Hold on. It's not like. Damn, I hate these mic stands.
Brian hates the mic stands.
So
I was
much.
hoping we'd go through. I really hope we'd go through this whole
I
thing
can't.
without you having a problem with the mic
I'm
stand.
into the. I'm telling a story, so my hands are into it. So I think that in 2019 we need to be okay with saying someone has a punchable face. And listen, that's not an insult. That's just a describing
Sure.
mechanism.
He actually
right?
dressed punchable too. Like where he
Punchable
like
outfits.
he buttoned his button up all the way
Like,
to the top.
when I say
with the
punchable-
two little buttons on the side
Right.
to make sure the collar doesn't go anywhere.
When I say punchable face, you all have a face that you're picturing, and you're like, "That is punchable.
yeah,
that
it's
is a punchable face."
I've met people before. The Fire documentary.
Yep, fire. The
How
fire.
punchable is that guy's face?
Billy McFarland.
Yes,
punchable face.
Such a punchable face.
Punchable, and also he's got a punchable, like just his mannerisms are punchable.
His face is almost like a beanbag chair.
I mean, he's the kind of
I
dude.
want to just.
Let's talk about the fire.
defile
Let's
it.
talk about the fire festival later in the show, because I don't want to derail myself. But that is, you're right. That is a punchable face. Google it. But you all know what a punchable face is, and I
Google
think that
punchable face.
Joel Byers has a punchable face. I like Joel. You do not. But I will say that he's got a punchable face. He just looks like he's one of those people you walk up to and you immediately don't like him until you start
I
talking
don't
to him.
like. I don't necessarily hate him. My biggest thing was like, look, I went out there and I botched and I ate it and I ate it in
you
front
did.
of everyone and everyone knew that I ate it. The problem that I had was then he decided to go out and like
Yeah, you
try
went.
and throw me further under the bus than
Well,
I already was. Like I was so far under the bus that I was driving the bus from underneath by
Yeah.
like pulling like the axle
And yeah, and you
the
went like through the floorboards.
drive
like
chain.
it was like it was like Speed.
Yes.
Like you see the floorboards. You were looking for.
Yeah, it was like-
So the thing about it is like I understand the comedic instinct to crap on whatever just happened. Right? Dude, I'm in the room too. I've been.
But he
there.
went into like nepotism and then kind of like blasting you a little bit and then stayed on it and the audience really wasn't digging
no.
it. They
Well,
were
see,
all
but-
on my side.
But here's the justice in it all.
They were all on my side.
Here's
Who went
the
out there and I was like, man, I don't remember. He's tall.
Oh, here's the thing. Here's the thing that he's gonna have to learn. Hey, I'm sure he knows this. Joel's been doing this a long time, and like I said, I like Joel Byers. Is that when you have a punchable face, it's hard to take the high road and be snarky because people look at you and you walk out on stage and they're like, damn, I want to punch that guy.
You know who doesn't have a punchable face? Me.
You don't. That's why you ultimately won that interaction.
I was wrong,
won
and
that
I
interaction.
won. I will
Because-
admit, Joel Byers, I was wrong. I should have taken a second and remembered your name so that I went out there and I didn't botch it. But I also went out there with bad jokes and kind of ate it.
Well,
and,
but what I was gonna get back to is
so
when
I
it
got-
ain't your show.
and you yelled out halfway through the set because that was the same show.
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah, who
Oh,
are
yeah.
you? You got to introduce yourself.
I know.
Because I have this great joke that I do at the wineries where I'm like, what is this, a red?
Yeah.
I smell it. And
The
I act
problem
like
is
I'm
that
a
you just
wine
seem like a
connoisseur.
rando that wandered out onto the stage and started talking. So my point is this. I do agree
That's
with you.
funny.
It is funny if you're aware of what you're supposed to do next.
The,
And,
the
you know.
audience, once they're in it, it's meta, Brian. Stuff's really.
You know what? Maybe I blew it.
Maybe you ruined my perfect
Maybe
set.
the comedy was above my head and I don't get it.
you just
No, what I was
missed it.
saying
Me and
is
Joel were on the same page.
you and Byers are a two-man act.
Yeah,
So the thing is that I
We
was
worked that out beforehand. It's really dark.
What I was
it's a really
gonna-
dark 2-man thing we do where he just craps on me.
What I was going to say is I understand that comics need to feel the need to address the thing in the room, but also know your place in the show. If you're a guest spot on a show and the headliner's brother's hosting and there's a mistake, move the F on and tell your jokes.
Yeah.
Don't stay on it.
Dude.
Hold on. I did a show one time, Crackers Comedy Club in Indianapolis. Could there be a crappier, whiter name than Crackers Comedy Club? It
No.
just screams.
There couldn't.
It screams we're not a super friendly place.
Sure.
So I'm doing the show.
Hey,
and
black people.
come on down
on.
to Crackers. Get the hell out of here. What is wrong with you?
We're funny.
I don't understand why comedy
I
clubs
doubt you're
feel that.
funny to me.
Why do comedy clubs feel the need to have a funny name? Go bananas.
No. Yeah, giggles.
Giggles, laughs, go bananas. How
I mean,
about-
I've seen you see them sometimes where they're like, let's go really bad and be like the funny bucket.
no funny bone, loony bin. There's a place called the Loony Bin. There's
That's
go
not
bananas.
funny to people who've actually lost their mind.
Mental health, yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah,
insensitive.
yeah.
You know what? Hashtag me too in terms of mental health. So my thing is that you got to know your place. So I did a guest spot on a show at Crackers Comedy Club in Broad Ripple, Indiana, which is just north of
Broad
Indianapolis.
Ripple.
Broad Rips.
You
Broad
must have
Ripple.
when you get to the name, the list of names that you have, and you're like, "What are we gonna name this city?" Well, we can't call it, New York. We already got one of those. We already got a Boston.
Broad Ripple.
You're all the way at the very bottom when you get.
Let
to
me
Broad
tell you a
Ripple.
story about comedy in Broad Ripple. That was my Morgan Freeman impression.
That's
in
pretty
case you're
good.
wondering. Somebody told me one time that my Morgan Freeman impression sounds like Forrest Gump and Morgan Freeman collaborated. Let me tell you about a story.
Collaborated on a human.
On a really bad impression. So I'm doing a show, and it's a Thursday night show. I'm driving across the country. My good friend Jeff Keith, who I love, dude is awesome.
Love Jeff
comedian
Keith.
Jeff Keith. Look him up. He was doing a show, and he's like, "Come in here, do a guest spot. I want to introduce you to the bookers of this comedy club. You should headline this place." And I was like, "That's great. That sounds awesome." So I go to the show. It's a Thursday night show. Already a bad. The chips are stacked against you on a Thursday night show, right? Like it's gonna be Thursday nights are not the hot night for comedy. And so it's just not a very well attended show. And Jeff's like, "Yo, dude, sorry, this show stinks." I'm like, "It's all good, dude. We've all done Thursday night
We've all
shows.
done stinky shows.
We've all done shows in front of 15, 17 people,
Ask
whatever."
Joel Byers.
So he's done so many. So the crowd sat all weird, like tables aren't together. It's just all weird. And so I go up on stage and I just do my set because, man, that's what I'm a guest here. And after the show, the woman Marianne, the booker, which Midwest bookers have this I have this power over crackers. I have 2 clubs. One of these comedians. Get out of here,
This
lady.
power over crackers.
She does. Power over. Well, that's the sad part. She's power over crackers, a power over
Power
black
over
comedians who
crackers.
still have to work the club. So, anyways, she goes, "Well, I mean, you're definitely not a headliner." And I go, "Oh no, I mean, I headline clubs across the country. I headline a number of clubs." She goes like, "Well, I don't know if I'd headline you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "You just seem kind of green to me." And I was like, "I did?" I was like, "I just did. I did a set that I've done on television."
Yeah.
So, and she goes, "Well, first of all, I don't know who sat the room tonight." And I'm like, "That sounds like a thing you need to answer. Like, I don't know your staff." And she goes, I think you probably should have just talked about how the room was sat so poorly and none of the tables were together and
What? That's the most ridiculous. I would be like, that's So this weird Midwestern lady just started talking to you about your set, like telling you how your set
Yeah.
should have been,
No,
like how you should have
she-
done your set. You should have done more jokes about.
She never even listened to the set because this stupid idiot was too busy mad that I didn't go up there and start ripping on the room for how like the waitress sat to
She
17
booked the
people.
room.
Dude, also her staff is the one who seats the room. I've never been here before. The last thing I'm going to do is go like, hey, Jeff, thanks for the guest spot. I'm doing a tight 5 of crapping all over this club and trying to endear myself to these people. And then hopefully they book me. Guess what they never did? Book me.
Yeah, never booked you. Never booked you.
So what do you want to talk about next, Pat? You're
I
running
don't
this
know.
ship.
We're moving on. We're just moving on to a new point.
I said ship, by the way. I said running this ship.
I'm running this ship.
You know
Don't
what?
jump the shark.
Okay. What's more teasable? This is kind of like host 101 here. Oscar nominations, because
Ooh,
you know a lot about that.
We only got about 20 seconds left.
Or Super Bowl fail stories.
Oh God, I don't want to do Super Bowl fail stories
Let's
because
do that
that's all
later.
Seahawks. Yeah. No.
I'm
Let's
talking
talk about the
our
Oscars.
personal fails.
Oh,
not the
gotcha.
game.
Oh
Let's do the
God.
Oscar-
Oh, my Uber ride.
That's later. Pat had the worst ride in history. Let's
yeah.
talk about Oscar nominations.
Let's talk about that.
Because you know things about the Oscars. I don't.
I've seen a bunch of the movies. The ones I haven't seen are the ones that are going to win though, because they seem
Roma.
so
You
boring.
didn't see Roma, right?
Didn't see Roma. Didn't see Star Wars.
Roma's supposed to be Roma's the Netflix movie that's supposed to be like the next big movie. Like it's supposed to be huge. It's supposed to be the winner. And it was a Netflix movie, which is
yeah.
crazy.
Alfonso Cuarón is the director. And he's made some incredible stuff. But
Here's my real question.
I just like I find myself in the depths of cancer and chemotherapy, not wanting to watch movies that make me think that much.
Get all sad.
So I also haven't seen A Star Is Born because people are like, "Oh my God, like I cried so hard." It's like I don't want to do that.
I don't want to see A Star Is Born because I got to be honest, man. Bradley Cooper annoys me. Like he annoys me.
He came into the restaurant I worked at once. And
I'm
he
sure
was
he's a nice
kind of
guy.
rude, but he was also in a meeting with
Oh, he
Dax
was?
Shepard, and Dax Shepard was kind of more rude and used to come into the restaurant all the time and was always
Those
kind
guys
of-
both seem like absolute tools. I got to be honest. Like
I don't think I'm not going to co-sign on that at all.
okay,
I don't
well,
think
I'm
either
not
of
saying.
them-
I just said
because
seem.
I
I
met
didn't
him
say I
then,
have any
yeah.
proof on this.
No, I think they're just very focused on their own
On what?
careers and like doing their own
And
thing.
being a tool to
Bradley
people in
Cooper,
public.
Bradley Cooper, is a pretty talented dude. Like I accidentally started listening to some of the songs from A Star Is Born today, and they're really good. And he sings most of them.
Yeah, here's the thing about Bradley Cooper.
Then again, he had Lady Gaga writing him, and she could write a song for me, and it would be like.
All right, let's not get crazy.
Let's get crazy.
Here's the thing about Bradley Cooper, and I feel the same way about Chris Pratt, and that is like,
Oh, you're just jealous
don't-
because they're big, hot white guys.
no, that's not it. Be big and hot and white. Do all you want to. I deal with big and hot white guys. That sounded weird. I deal with big and hot white guys all the time, man.
You think the biggest, hottest, whitest I've ever seen? No
you bring
way.
a big hot white guy over to me, you see what
I'm
happens.
not a big, hot and white.
No. What I'm saying is that once I like you in a comedy as a big white doofy dude, then I can't take you serious. And so Chris Pratt, he's pulled off like comedy, but if Chris Pratt ever does like Silver Linings Playbook, I'm gonna slap him. No, I'm not figuratively. But then Bradley Cooper, like I loved him in Hangover. I loved him in all the comedies he does.
You like him when he plays characters.
Yeah, and then when he gets serious, I don't
But
like him.
that
I don't
said,
like
though,
it.
that
I
said,
can't.
though, the fact that you like him when he does those other things means that you like him when he's actually acting. Like that's so. Like
Yeah,
when
I
he
like
does
his
like
acting.
Silver Linings Playbook, he's kind of playing Bradley Cooper as
I don't
you
really
know.
like Bradley Cooper. I like
you don't
I
like
the,
you like watching him be an
like
actor,
comedy
but that
Bradley
actually is that's a compliment
So,
to
I'm not
Bradley
saying
Cooper.
he's not a good
He can do
actor.
comedy, he can sing. That's what I'm saying about him is that like he might be unflappably talented. Like he might.
I just
be,
at this point, like I just don't. If
we
it's-
might have to deal with the fact that he's the most bangable guy.
No, he's definitely bangable.
No, like the most bangable.
Oh, you think he's the most of all
like
time?
he might be the most bangable guy of all time.
So
Oh my
who-
god!
Like,
Which
okay, let's
brings
do
me-
a list before we get into
You
the
know
Oscar
what? I
nom.
have a
What?
brand new segment. Okay.
Okay.
We have to talk a little bit through the beginning of it.
Why?
Just because we're getting into a new segment where Brian and I we're good at hating on things, but we're also good at loving things. And when we really love things, sometimes they have to do with dudes. Sometimes we have man crushes. Sometimes we get man crushes.
Why are you
big
talking
time.
about my undying man crush for Loud Luxuries?
I'm just using them as a backdrop. Yeah, Brian loves these guys.
They're the
I'm just
best,
using
dude.
I don't want it to make this isn't going to be a hate show. Like we're not going to hate on Bradley Cooper.
I'm not hating on Bradley Cooper.
I'm not saying that you're hating on Bradley Cooper. I'm just saying like the other side of this whole argument is that we also love guys. Like,
Yeah.
we do a lot of loving
So
on
is this
men.
like our man love?
This is
thing?
our
How
man
did you
crush.
have this on your
I
tablet?
just had to find out.
Oh my god!
I
Yeah.
knew this was going to come up.
These guys are the greatest, dude. Loud Luxury, the sweetest guys on the planet. They're Canadians. That's probably why they're so sweet.
Probably.
They're just happy to be here. They're just hoping Trump doesn't build that wall on that north side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Loud Luxury. They're my guys, man.
I know.
I'm taking shots with them. They put their headphones, like they let me be in the DJ booth. I had headphones on up at the Hollywood.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Brian
Hollywood
too, he's
Palace.
like a lot of person to be around a
I'm too
DJ
much
booth.
person.
Like, I'm all arms.
I don't
and
realize.
elbows.
I don't realize like how big a human being I am until I'm with two people that are just like average size. Like the Loud Luxury cats are like one of them is like 6 foot and the other one's 5'7", and then I roll into the booth like 6'4", and like I'm out. I feel like I look like every offensive lineman who's walked into a mall.
Yeah, sure. Just trying to go. Nothing fits me. I'm stupid huge. Rawr.
I mean, that's how I feel every time I go into Zara. It's like, I'm gonna rip through
I
these
know.
tiny baby
Honestly,
man clothes.
I feel huge there because I'll put on an XL and be like, it's a little
damn,
snug.
dude, I've been
It's a
working
little
out.
snug. So let's talk about
Alright,
some
so
man
hold
crushes
on.
because honestly,
Man
I would
crush.
say that I am going to watch A Star Is Born. I haven't been able to do it recently because of my usual need to hate on things.
Yeah.
But I feel like
So
my
you're turning over a new leaf.
maybe
Whoa.
cancer, man.
It's put it all in perspective for
Totally
you.
changed me.
I don't want to see Bradley Cooper in like something sappy and stuff.
I don't really like sappy stuff at all. So that's
Also,
my
I got to
biggest
be honest. At this
problem
point, for
with it.
some reason right now, I've got an obsession with war movies. Like I just want to see World War
Love war
II.
movies.
I just want to see machine guns.
Was it because we watched?
I wanna see,
Was it
like-
because we watched Saving Private Ryan like not too long ago?
I mean, I saw,
We, like,
I
fired
saw
that up one
Saving
night?
Private Ryan. I've seen. I started rewatching.
You know, what you should watch is
13th Hour for no reason.
You should watch the.
See, John Krasinski bucks the whole trend for me because I love John Krasinski in The Office.
There we go.
And then all of a sudden he became an action star.
And you
I'm
don't like him?
No, I totally get it.
Yeah, you
I don't know why I get it.
Because I'm like that with Chris Pratt. Like I love Chris Pratt. I have no
Yeah.
problem with Chris Pratt.
No, I love
I'm
Chris
all
Pratt
about
too,
him.
but I just don't know if I could take him serious if he was like
He's like the commercial Tom Hardy for me
he's commercial
because
Tom Hardy.
I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I mean, I just
big
don't.
fan.
I don't know if I could. I just don't think I could take him serious. Like Chris Pratt, I loved him. Here's the thing: he was the best I've ever seen. Chris Pratt is when he was in Parks and Rec, and I think it's because I just felt like, oh, he's me, big dummy.
Sure.
Hurts himself all the time.
He is kind of like Russell Wilson annoying.
I feel like he's hiding something.
But
I'm just gonna say it. I think Chris Pratt's hiding something.
You do
I think
feel
there's
like
something
that.
in the background.
I saw him at the ArcLight and said his kid was sitting there with a Seahawks sweatshirt on. And I was like, "Hey man, go Seahawks!" and gave him a fist pound, and then looked up and I was like, "Oh my god,
my God,
that's
it's
Chris Pratt."
I mean, listen.
and he was like, "Hey man, nice. Like, where you from?" And I was like, "Woodby Island." And he was like, "Oh, cool. I'm
Yeah, from Lake Stevens."
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys used to crush us and everything.
football. Yeah, Vikings.
Pretty much
Screw
everything.
them.
Yeah, pretty much
Everything.
We
Everything. There's a good
never
chance.
beat you guys in
There's a
stuff.
good chance Chris Pratt, as a junior in high school when I was a freshman, just probably demolished me in football for no
There's a
reason.
good
on like
chance
a
that
kick
Chris
return.
Pratt's life has always been 25% better than mine until it was
25%.
1,000% better than mine.
No.
Like literally we were shooting at the same like
Let me just say it. Chris Pratt stole my shit. Okay,
He
I'm
kinda did.
I'm a 6'4" Northwest kid. I should be an action hero. I should be in Jurassic World. Chris Pratt. Okay, I don't know where you got off.
I know.
Just going and working on acting while I went into stand up comedy, and all of a sudden you become Chris Pratt, and I now gotta
you
I'm
were just
relegated to radio.
you were so close to flying around in space.
I was this close to being an Avenger. Or whatever, a Fantastic Four or something. Oh yeah, I'm hating too much. Is this it? If I start hating, you're gonna put Loud Luxury on?
All right, come back to us.
Gonna ride in the six.
Come on back
Ride
to
in the
us.
six. Okay, fine. Whatever, I don't need to hate on it. You're right, I don't need to hate.
Where you at with Tom Brady these days?
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, okay, here's the thing. If Tom Brady beats the Rams in the Super Bowl, I feel like he has a personal problem with me specifically. And I
Well,
know that
sure.
sounds ridiculous because he's just trying to win games, but he's crushed the soul of two teams that I've loved, and I was part of like their whole season.
At the Super Bowls. I was
At
at
the
both
Super
the
Bowls.
Super Bowls too. So
the
I
Seahawks.
don't even know why I brought him up.
But the Seahawks, we interception on the 1 yard line to Marshawn Lynch, and then I was walking out of the stadium with
To
Marshawn
not
Lynch's
Marshawn
mom.
Lynch.
You know what? I have a video of Marshawn Lynch's mom saying he done with Seattle. He done with Seattle, and I didn't. Hey, I feel like I deserve a medal for this. I did not post it on social media out of respect for Marshawn and his
for
mom.
you.
I felt like that's trash.
Good for you.
Then the next one was you and I in Houston at the Falcons game. Falcons, Patriots. We had a blast of a weekend. Arthur Blank, security guard, Arthur Blank owns the Falcons, gave us tickets.
Because we're so personable.
Well, actually, like they thought that we had tickets, and I told them we didn't. They're like, "Why did they send here with no tickets?" We're like, "We're trying to figure that out too right now. We're trying to figure out exactly why we're
trying
here."
to figure out why.
And then what did the Patriots do? Crush their soul in the second half of the game. So now I just feel like this is my third time living in a city for radio where the team that I'm like, that's the team I'm pulling for, is going to go to the Super Bowl. And now it's in my town. It's in my backyard. It's in my backyard. And I know Tom Brady is going to pummel the Rams. And it's going to be because he doesn't like me.
God, they're so going to beat the Rams.
He doesn't like me. I know.
But I would do... Okay, so because I feel like he's getting a lot of hate now for being like the most vapid human ever, which I don't know if that's true. I know that Giselle dresses him and she shouldn't because he ends up looking like I don't know if you saw what he wore pregame. I mean, he looked like some sort. He looked like.
What do you mean Giselle shouldn't dress Tom Brady? What are you gonna? You're gonna say no to Giselle?
I'm not saying that you say no.
A Brazilian supermodel who's the most famous rich
I think
model.
she's Argentinian.
I think southern Brazil,
somewhere. Okay,
but near Argentina.
Whatever.
The German Brazilians.
I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying that other people. I feel myself leaning more towards liking Tom Brady right now than I ever have.
Well, because he's old and you're
because he's 41.
Now. You're old.
He's
now.
41 and he's still doing his thing. The one thing that I don't understand is where all the hate is coming. Like there's so much hate. I mean, I understand where the hate is coming from.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Yes, because they can't stop winning. But like the hate on Tom Brady, where it's like that he's like this vapid kind of like
I don't know anything about him being
shallow.
vapid.
That he's like he might as well be.
I think he kisses his dad too much. That's weird.
He kisses his dad
on the lips.
No,
yeah, look it up right now. Listen, I'm gonna Google
I'm not
it right
googling
now.
that.
No,
I don't want to see it. I don't need that image in my head.
I'm gonna Google it. Just you keep going. You you filibust.
No,
kissing dad. Sorry.
God,
you don't think? Oh God!
Brian starts moving every time the song comes on.
I mean,
oh my God!
How did you not know that Tom Brady kissed his dad straight up on the It just blew out my ears.
Sorry. All right.
There's another one too. Look at this. There's another one. And another one. Anyways, listen.
If Dad ever tried to kiss me like that, I would call CPS.
Oh,
even at 35, I would
rifle
be like,
an uppercut.
cool,
I had a rifle and uppercut right into his mustache. No, the thing is, I don't think Tom Brady's vapid. I think he's taking care of his body at 40. I think he's done some weird. I mean, he's a rich guy. So he's running out of. He's running out of stuff to do.
I guess I just don't hate him. I feel like people hate him more now than they ever have, and I don't hate him more now than I ever have. Like, if anything, I hate him less now because I'm like, man, the guy's old. I hope that they win this Super Bowl.
No.
Against the Rams, because then maybe he'll retire.
No, he's not going to retire. He said he wants to play till he's 45. He's weird. He just wants to sit back there and not get touched because the offensive line keeps the defense out. He never gets hit and just throw rockets to tiny white receivers. Right. That's all he wants to do is throw to tiny white receivers and one giant white tight end.
Had to make it about race.
Well, because there are a bunch of white people throwing to white people the whitest city in the country.
It's true. With the whitest.
What are you trying to play? You're trying to play some stuff. Are we going to talk about Oscar nominations or what? Let's go through some of these movies.
Oh, no, wait. You know,
no, that was perfect music for all this white guy talk.
It's not. This is if we're going to talk about the Oscars, we need to talk about rock stars, baby. Yeah, you see what I did there? No?
I thought this was Migos for a second. Okay, hey, here's a funny thing. Best director. Yes, that's good. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Best director. So, here's the hubbub about Best Director. Is that Bradley Cooper was not nominated in his directorial debut. We've got Alfonso
He wasn't nominated.
Cuarón. No. Yorgos Lanthimos. I don't know.
Lanthimos.
Spike Lee, Adam McKay for Vice, and Powell Pawlowski for Cold War. No Bradley Cooper. Here's my thing. How the hell do we even know what a good director is?
Okay, that's...
what is it?
I think that...
I mean, explain it to me. Because right now I'm like, what do you have to do to be a good director? I have to say cut loud enough?
I think that he wasn't...
How about this, Pat? Does this work? Cut!
I think... Listen, what I'm
Action.
going to say... Stop. Because you don't
Oh,
know
now
anything
I'm-
about movies.
Now I'm crapping on his industry, and he's like,
Well,
hey, play
because you
play
don't
Loud
know
Luxury.
anything
I feel
about
like you're
movies.
getting mad.
Because you don't know anything. So just stop for a second. Because
Ready? Action.
there's a difference between Bradley Cooper and Alfonso Cuarón.
But what? What is the
Cuarón.
difference?
I can't even. His name.
Yeah,
is
yeah. The difference is you don't know who the hell the guy is. Okay, what is the difference?
The difference is that if Bradley Cooper is acting in the movie, he's also singing in the movie. He's
Right.
also like wooing Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Because the looks from his wife when him and Lady Gaga were together.
No
in the-
way. Is
at
she a
at
hater?
the Golden Globes, it was not. She
Oh,
did not
no.
look pleased.
She's a hater.
She did not look pleased about the whole thing. But she loves him, which is fine. I
Yeah.
think what they were saying is that he couldn't have possibly directed the movie. Like he directed the movie, but how concentrated can you be on it? You have a great
Well,
DP.
that's what
so.
I agree.
Did they get a look at the director of photography?
All
Did the
right.
director of photography
Best
get
act-
it?
Okay, let's go through the other ones too. Best actress, real quick.
I'm
is-
surprised that he didn't get nominated because I thought it
Lady
was going to be a clean
Gaga.
sweep for him. I think he should have got nominated for best director because also managing those kind of
Well,
egos.
he's nominated for best actor. So is Christian Bale, William Dafoe, Rami Malek, and Viggo Mortensen for
God, I
Green
haven't
Book.
seen like any of the movies that these people are in. I've seen,
Best supporting actors, we got Amy
I saw
Adams,
Escape Room the other day. That
Marina
was pretty
Del
good. I saw
Tavira,
Aquaman.
Regina King, Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz. You know who's not on Best Actor after you just saw Aquaman? Jason Momoa. He did not make it. Best Supporting Actor, we got Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver, Black Kingsman, Sam Elliott, A Star Is Born. I gotta be honest. Sam Rockwell, Richie Grant, but I saw Black Klansman.
I haven't seen it.
I found it boring. I'm just gonna say it boring, and I know what they were trying to do.
Spike Lee's
But it was
movies
he could have
are-
edited the crap out of the thing. Like it's just so. I mean, there's a reason that they got Best Supporting Actor because Adam Driver is keeping it from being just god awful. Best Original Screenplay.
I haven't seen that yet. I honestly haven't seen,
Best
like-
Adapted Screenplay.
Let's see Best
Makeup,
Director of
and-
Photography or Cinematography.
Okay, I'm going Best Cinematography.
Do we have the guy from
A Star Is Born.
There it is.
Matty Lebatique.
See, I bet if we look that guy up, never heard of him. But I'm sure he's incredible. And I
Best
bet if we-
Original Song? Wait, Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I'll Fight? Whoa. RBG is a dope movie. You got to see RBG. I watched the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary, and I felt inspired to change some things.
It's called On the Basis of Sex.
RBG.
Is the movie that RBG is.
I'm still scrolling. Best animated feature, whatever. Best foreign film, foreign language film.
That should have been the one. RBG should win.
That's gonna win best documentary for sure. Best film
I don't think
edit.
it will.
Best film editing. Black Klansman. Talk about you should have edited it more. Lose. That's not gonna win. All right. Should we tell the Super Bowl story about your longest Uber ride ever before we get out of here and grab some food?
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. Taco Tuesday, baby.
All right. So Saturday night before the Super Bowl,
Do we need music?
2015.
Should we lead into this with some music?
Yeah, probably. Let's be professional.
Oh wait.
Let's find play some more hype. That's the wrong knob.
No, it's not.
It's not? All right. There we go. Pat's having trouble with the buttons working.
I'm having trouble.
You're pushing buttons and they're not playing things.
There was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman.
Whoops, that's not the right one.
Are you going to play something? What are you doing? Oh, boy.
Fun with buttons, baby.
Fun with buttons. That should be the actual name of your podcast, not Mood Points anymore. Just Fun with Buttons.
Fun with buttons.
All right. We set the scene. 2015, Saturday night, Super Bowl. We were in Scottsdale, Arizona. Seahawks are about to take on the New England Patriots. Seahawks were coming off a Super Bowl victory, Super Bowl 48, the greatest Super Bowl of all time, where we pummeled the Denver Broncos. We were looking to go back to back.
That was the best Super Bowl because from the very beginning,
We knew it was
did
over.
not worry.
Oh, my
it
God,
was
it was
over
great.
from the very moment it started.
No, you know what? It was the first. It was when Percy Harvin returned the kick.
Right
the
before
squib
halftime.
kick. No, the squib kick right after halftime.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, there we go. I can start
It's over.
dancing.
This game is
so
over.
we go to a Super Bowl party. It was Joe Tafoya, Seahawks legend, Super Bowl party. Really wasn't much of a party. It was just a bar with Joe Tafoya at it.
Yes.
In full disclosure. We were
Yes.
told it was a Super Bowl
It was
party.
hella whack. There was,
It
this the Beast Bus. What was that big bus?
The Beast Bus. It's a big Seahawks double-decker bus.
Yeah, it was
That
awesome.
made its way all the way to Scottsdale, Arizona. So what happened was, I'm not sure exactly why I decided I was going home, but for some reason I decided I was going home.
Brian decided to bounce.
Yeah, I don't know why I decided to bounce. But
Because you hate me?
no, I don't know. Listen, I'm not. Maybe it's because I wanted to not stay out all night because we had the Super Bowl the next
Because
day.
it was you and Killian.
Yeah, I think we just decided.
And
to wait.
whoever went and lived at the place that we were staying
I
at.
don't remember her name. Well, I'll think of it eventually.
Lindsay,
No, but okay.
Sarah,
No.
Heather.
White chicks. Oh, that sounds close. No. Okay. So Patrick decides to go out with my friend Jackie, my co-host at the time. in
We
radio.
just decided to stay. You guys went.
Oh, you stayed. We left early. Okay.
You guys left early and we just stayed because I wanted to see the Beast Bus. And the Beast Bus was on the way, and Jackie's in radio, and she was like, oh, my friends run the Beast Bus, and so they're going to be here in a minute. And I was like,
Gotcha.
I want
Let's
to
wait
see
for
it
the
because it
Beast
was like a huge party, like double-decker party bus.
That's right.
Like, it looked awesome. So I want to get to know these people.
Okay. So we leave. You guys hang around.
We hang around.
Then
Yes.
what the hell happens then? Because
We
I
continue
remember
to
you
get drunk. At a certain point, I realized that Jackie is a handful. Like, Jackie's a little bit older.
That's
and,
probably
like,
why I decided to get out of there. Because
it
she
might
is a handful.
be. Thank you for leaving me because I
You
was like
got
stoked
it.
to stay. So then I start to realize that she's a bit of a handful, and also I was just kind of getting tired. And it was like Super Bowl's tomorrow. We need to I don't
let's
want
get
to
our
be
ish
out all
together.
night. Yeah. Let's get our.
It's gonna be a long day.
So Jackie's like, call an Uber. She tries to call it on her phone. It doesn't work. This is when Uber was just starting to. So Uber was still
right.
new. It was still a pretty new thing. And it was like, okay, I'll call an Uber.
Damn, Uber's been around that long, huh?
So it was like, yeah. So it was like either Uber or look for a cab. And I was like, no, an Uber will be cheaper. So I call the Uber. The Uber comes. It takes a while for the Uber to get to us because it's all crowded and crazy in downtown Scottsdale.
Yeah,
Uber,
chaos.
Uber gets there. We get in. We start driving. I'm like, hey, do you have a phone charger? My phone's about to die. He's like, no. And I was like, okay, well, you need to take the address of where we're going first. So I give him the address because this was before you would get into the Uber and then give him the address.
Really?
This is how old Uber was.
Damn. Are you
didn't
really?
log in? Yeah, you didn't log in with an address. So I give him my phone. He types the address into his search into Google Maps.
Yeah.
And hits go. Gives me my phone back. My phone dies. We're sitting in the back. Jackie passes the F out,
she's
hard,
done. Yeah.
snoring, so done, she's like a dead body. And we start driving, and we go probably 20 minutes. I have no idea where we are, where we're going. I knew we were about that far away, and he pulls up to this house in the middle of the ghetto, and it's like, here we are.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, definitely no.
Not the place we're supposed to be.
Definitely not where we're supposed to be. This is not the spot. And he was just like, well, I don't have anything else. And I was like, well, my phone's dead. And he was like, this is the address you gave me. And I was like, this is definitely not the address that I gave you. It must be something else, but I can't tell you what it is. And he didn't have a phone charger for my phone.
Right. So it was like we got to charge this phone so I could find it.
So
Because it could have been.
tried to kick us out. And I was like, first of all, I can't even wake her up. And second
Yeah.
of all, you can't leave us here. What are we supposed to do?
Well, also, the thing is, too, is that Phoenix is one of those towns built on a grid. So it could have been we were on 37th Street Northeast and he had Southwest.
Well, I know what it was. So the difference was it was Cole Yurt, and he wrote in Colvert. It was Cole Yurt Drive.
Cole Yurt and a Colvert in the same
Yurt
city.
Drive, and he went to Colvert Drive.
Gotcha.
Colvert Drive had a bunch of angry-looking South American men sitting on the porch.
Gotcha.
They were going to kill us. And I was like, I can't get out of here, man.
Yeah.
And you don't
This
want to get
doesn't
us out
seem
here.
like-
This is a CNN
This doesn't.
investigate.
It doesn't feel like where I'm supposed to be.
when we both go
Also,
missing.
we were staying in in Scottsdale in a townhouse community. It was gated. You would have had to get in through a gate anyway.
Yeah. So then I end up being like, yo, you just need to take me to a place where I can get a phone charger. He says he doesn't know where any places are that have phone
We'll
chargers.
take me to that gas
like
station
a
over
gas
there.
station, nothing. Couldn't find anything. So we finally get to a gas station. I get out, get a phone charger, charge my phone on the side of the street, figure out what the problem is, get a new Uber.
What? Because he left.
Because he left.
He
left
left
us
you guys?
there.
Did he
He left us. He kicked Jackie out of the car. Yeah.
And he just took off.
Yeah, he just took off. We finally figure out what the problem was. It was
Okay.
Cole Yurt. We get back to the place. I have to climb a fence to get us in.
That's right.
We
Because
get
everyone was
in.
asleep at that point.
It was a crazy ass night.
But how was? What
I
was
wake up the next morning, $195 Uber charge.
Damn! Did you ever get refunded for that?
$195. Somehow that wasn't the biggest botch of the weekend though, because then the Seahawks lost by not running it on
Russell
the 1 yard
Wilson
line.
bailed you out on that botch.
God, that was terrible.
So lesson learned, Pat.
Yes.
Memorize your addresses.
Memorize your addresses.
5 years ago.
That's the important part. All right, so that's the end of it. That's the end of this Moot Points podcast. Moot Reboot Reloaded 2.0, 5.0,
Whatever.
it is.
It was fun. I think you know what you're getting this pushing buttons down thing. Fun with buttons.
Fun with buttons.
Fun with buttons.
Take care of your to-do list right by starting with Lowe's, because we have a lineup of outdoor power equipment brands you can trust to tackle any project. And we'll even help you save. Stop in during Craftsman Days and save $10 on a Craftsman 2-cycle gas leaf blower, now just $99. And clean up with a Greenworks 1700 PSI electric pressure washer, now $89, saving you $30. Whatever you need to conquer your outdoor projects this fall, or any season, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 9/25, U.S. only.